Hey, Sarah. You're muted.
I'm muted.
How's it going?
It's good. I found out that you were tall.
Oh, who said that?
I saw Deborah this weekend
Oh, everyone
the-
says that when they meet
at
me.
the play, and I was like, I'm only 5'2", so I assume everyone's short like me. And I was like, oh, she's gonna be short.
Do I give out short energy? I don't get it.
You do not give out short. I mean, I've only met you on this. Wow. Mondays, man, I'm telling you, it's a terrible day for a meeting. But we have some guests. We're just waiting for our quorum to show up. Here we go. Let me get the agenda. I'm on a little laptop, so it's like really little. Agendas. Just gonna wait for Troy to finish connecting to audio, and then we'll do some procedural stuff because we'll have a quorum, and I'm sure Jeremy will join us when he's able. What is this saying? Oh,
Jeremy's with a student right now, so he'll be joining in just a few minutes.
okay, let me finish this one little message and then I'll call the meeting to order.
I do imagine I came by a few times last week, but you were always out of the office. Okay, you too.
Okay, I'm gonna put the agenda in the chat. Okay, all right, there's the agenda. All the meetings order at 3:19. And it's November, happy November. Rabbit, 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 if you say that on the first, like we do in our house, for luck. I'm gonna do a roll call. I only see Raquel is here, Troy. I'm here, that's a quorum, that's 3. Dr. Powers is not able to attend, and Jeremy will be joining us shortly. I make a motion, oops, sorry, I'm editing the wrong document. I don't want to be editing that document. Okay, I make a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, and then just roll call, which is myself is a yay, Raquel,
Yay.
and Mr. Hilbrands. Are you a yay? You seconded? Okay. You hear me? Sorry. Hello?
Sorry, were you saying
Okay,
something?
I just want to know if you approved the agenda. Are you,
yes.
okay,
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the October 4th, 2021 Budget Committee meeting. Do I have a
Second,
Okay, Hilbert, second. Raquel, roll call, vote.
What was that? Sorry.
I'm just taking a roll call for approval of the minutes from the October 4th meeting.
Oh, yay.
Okay, Hilbrands?
yay.
Okay, I'm a yay. The minutes are approved. Okay. According to the agenda, I would like to start with preparing for the budget state of the school address. And that will happen next Tuesday's LSC meeting. And I prepared, if you're looking at the agenda, we have MFT funds, OST funds, SRO funds, and back to school funds. Different things that we want to update. So Jeremy and I met twice and we went through a lot of the line items. Here he is coming in. I'm going to wait for a second so I don't have to repeat it. And also while we're waiting for Jeremy, just welcoming Rakesh and Sandeep and Amelia. Oh, wait, Amelia, are you a parent?
I am.
Okay, welcome. So
Thank you.
just wanted to welcome everyone. We're this is kind of a quick meeting, try to keep it under an hour. And we're really getting ready for our budget address, which is next Tuesday. Dr. Pars is not able to be here. Jeremy and I worked a lot on preparing, and I'm going to share a document. So Jeremy, we're on number 5 of the agenda. And I'm just going to pull up some slides, and there's information that we don't have, which will just mean it's blank, and we're waiting for Dr. Pars to fill it in. And then also Jeremy will provide updates closer to next Tuesday, which will fill in the blanks, but I did prepare the slides. So let me share my screen. All right, are you looking at the budget slides? Oops, just want to do this. Okay, all right. Can everyone see this?
Yep.
All right, so this is the first slide that I was planning to show the participants in that meeting or anyone, all of our stakeholders. And it shows this is the CPS funds that we receive. We really don't have much budgetary oversight, might not be the right word, but this is the money we get for student-based budgeting, and this is how it's budgeted. And that really can change throughout the year as people leave and come in. It's kind of a moving target, but this is what was as of October. And I'm going to go to the next slide, I think. Okay, and this is just a kind of an explanation of the internal accounts. So internal accounts are 124 funds, and how Jeremy has divided the budget sheet is we have income from rentals at the top, it's in blue, and we have income from fees, which is purple. And how he has allocated the funds is the things in blue. And if anyone's raising your hand or whatever, just gonna have to interrupt. I actually can't see any of your faces because I'm trying to look at the screen, but feel free to just interject anytime. The blue, staff development, admissions, SAT prep, staffing, that has been historically paid out of rentals. We're still at a 0 for rentals. That might have changed a little bit. We'll get an update from Troy in a little bit. And then the purple is paid out of school fees. And the staffing, that's 341,000. That's an AP, a halftime orchestra teacher, and something else, which I can't remember off the top of my head. And then the purple is the fees, and that pays for departmental budgets, supply, software, special projects. We have a negative balance, and that was to be covered with the surplus of internal accounts. What I wanted to provide as part of the update is this next slide, which will show the balance that we have in internal accounts. I haven't updated it for 11, which is November, as I was waiting for the chart of accounts from November, which Jeremy will provide. My next slide, this is additional funding sources we got for fiscal year 22. For ADF, which was previously additional discretionary funds, is now moving forward together funds. And all of these have some restrictions. We have 150,000 from out of school time funds and 130,000 from the whole school safety plan. So those were extra funds. And so I want to show our stakeholders how we are budgeting those funds. And that's what's going to be in the next slides. This is where we need information from Dr. Powers. We have he has budgeted 100,000 for test prep, but I haven't seen any additional information about these funds. I don't know what his plan is for them. They must be used by 6:30. So I'm hoping by next Tuesday, he's able to fill in this table with lots of good information. If it's not filled in, then I think we'll just present it like this, and maybe it's a TBD, but I'm hoping because he had to get his plan greenlighted by the network, the ISP network chief, I'm thinking that he has some ideas. Obviously it could change, but we just need to have some plan for these funds. And this is Jeremy, this is when I'm going to ask for some information from you. I kind of just made this up. So OST funds are being released low, not all in one chunk. 48,000 has been released. And I wasn't sure, Jeremy, if you wanted me to separate this as quarters or.
So more accurate would be right now, she's asked for a lot of their supply needs. And so we are doing a lot of supply spending for the entire annual program at the beginning now. And I can get you more numbers on that and what's been spent. It's not the entire, I think there's 14,000 or so that we moved to a supply line, and then another 33 or so, trying to find that, give me 1 second, that will be started off as stipends for the sponsors who are running these various programs.
Great.
So it's not really 25,000. It's
Right.
not quarters either.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know what to
From what it
put,
looks
so-
like to me, it's 3 times.
Okay. So you and I can look at that. We can fix this slide. I just wanted to have something for the meeting. So we knew what we still needed to fix.
Right. Yeah, for the supplies, looks like this is right. They started with 15,267 and 50 cents. I don't know how they come to that number. And the rest of it is about 35,000, and that has all gone into a bucket position line, which we will open a bucket with and then pay out stipends. It's not stipends, I'm sorry, it's hourly rates to sponsors.
And that's considered overtime, yeah?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. I'll get those exact numbers and update this slide, and I'll share this document so that we can edit it right on the doc. And then, I think the question the LSC will have is, we had these after school programs already. So
I'm sorry, what's,
okay.
we didn't
sorry.
have all of them already. Is
Okay,
that
we
what-
didn't. Okay,
Oh, no.
yeah, sorry, I lost
Many
us.
of these are new.
Okay, many are new. All right, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
that's-
I can't say for sure what's new and what isn't, because I'm not that clear on it, but Nicole is the one monitoring it, and she could tell you what, is a new program versus what isn't. But I know some of them are things I've not, like a jewelry club. We may have had one, but we definitely didn't spend any money with them.
Right, okay, so in that would have been, teachers would have volunteered, or they would have been paid out of a different bucket?
I see what you're asking. So let's say it was a group that met, like robotics club. They are getting some OST money and he's getting paid a sponsor. In the previous years, at the end of the year, clubs and organizations are divided into different tiers, tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, depending on what their functions and what they do and how much time is spent with the club. And then a sponsor is paid a stipend. If it's tier 1, I think it's the higher stipend, which is like a $740 stipend or something. If it's tier 2, it's like a $250-ish dollar stipend. And if it's tier 3, it's nothing. So if it's an established club already, they do get stipends at the end of the year for that based on their union contract. But these OST funds are giving us a lot more money to pay them a little more, which probably allows them to put a little more effort into things too.
Okay, okay. And I can also ask Nicole, because I think the council will have that question of what's
Okay.
different. So I can email her. I'll CC you on that, okay?
Yeah, and she'll probably have a better idea, I think, of what's, or she could give us a list and I could say, yeah, that one looks new to me. I've never heard of this one, you know, because she's fairly new to the building as well. So,
Okay, that's fair. Sorry, it's going to be a little bit loud here. Let me go to the next slide. This was, Jeremy and I talked about, this is the whole school safety plan monies. And culture and climate position is one, it's the 115 fund. I put that whole funding source in there because you had given it to me. I don't think I need it all in there. And then the additional security officer, oops, sorry, is 210 funds. So we're not quite sure how the positions haven't been filled. That's the numbers you're looking at is the numbers it was opened with. And so we technically would have a negative balance, but I don't think we'll actually know what that really is until we fill those positions. Correct?
a negative balance for the WSSP SRO money.
Yes.
Um,
Or do you think they'll just give us the extra money for the security guard?
I was not a part of the conversation as to how those got opened. I mean, the security officer, I don't think I had a hand in it all because I can't open positions for 210 funds. I did contact CPS with regard to the culture and climate position to open that one. But where they took the funding from is not, absolutely clear to me whether this was money moved over from the SRO. I haven't seen the paper trail or the email trail of how the SRO money came to be with our school. So I can't really say if it's causing us a negative on these lines.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's why I think I just present it like this and say, it might not be quite how it works because of the way the money was allocated. But as a council, we were told we would get 130,000 for the whole school safety plan. So just if you're not comfortable with the way the slide is representing the money, we can discuss that.
Yeah, I would say, I'm not even sure how to research it. I need more information on who told us it's $130,000 in order for me to be able to figure out where that money went.
Right. Yeah, that was just
So was that at a meeting and who gave that dollar amount out?
Dr. Powers.
Okay.
And that was what he had gotten from JD Chow.
Okay. So,
So-
I can investigate more, but I don't think I'm a part of that conversation. So I'll have to follow up with Dr. Powers and see where that's at.
Okay, that's fair. All right, let's go to the next slide. This was just an update on fee collection. These numbers will change, maybe, depending on time, right? You had mentioned that you might have time to update
These numbers are constantly changing. And
Yeah.
so right now they're through October 7th, which was the last time we did a deposit. So all the fees we collect get deposited, hopefully on a monthly basis, but it's all contingent on when we can get to it too. So October 7th was the last time we did it. And I'll need to do another one before we reconcile in November, which isn't until November 15th is the
that's right.
deadline. But I hope to do it before then. So hopefully before the next meeting, these will be updated.
Okay, and then additionally, if you didn't have time to reconcile the cash, you could pull the balance from the credit cards or no?
It's all work. So yeah,
Okay.
like the credit cards aren't required to be done on a daily basis or anything like that. So right now, I have credit card receipts probably just up until the 7th, but yes, every day there's more coming in. So those have to get put in as receipts, and that will change what these numbers are.
Okay, and just to clarify, like, what happens are, in your experience, is there like a lot of cash sitting around? Is it like, or no, or do most people pay with credit cards? Like-
Most pay with credit card, I would say. There's not a lot of cash sitting around you're
Okay.
talking about for these fees specifically.
Right, yes,
No, I
Okay.
would say a very small percentage is collected as actual cash, mostly checks if they're in person, and far more are credit cards, especially right now because there's no credit card fees.
okay. Oh, fancy. Okay, so, that would be, just give us and I will explain to everyone that this slide is all the fees. It's not, it could be past year fees. So
That's
just,
correct.
you could actually collect more than what you expected to collect.
Potentially, yep.
Potentially. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is blank because I wasn't, departmental budget updates. So Jeremy had put together, I just didn't have time to put them in the slide. Year-to-date spending for no, it was more of, I have to look at our spreadsheet.
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
mean,
we didn't do a
essentially what you're
year-to-date.
asking is not this one, but the departmental updates is pretty much just chart of accounts subtracted from the budget that was approved.
Right.
You can see what they've spent for the year.
And
Miscellaneous-
yeah.
What was the next slide? Miscellaneous supply needs?
Yeah, that was again, just part of the budget. I can do I think I would just wanted to show what was budgeted and to remind people what it was. And then I didn't do this slide. Did I do software updates? So these are all just the next parts of this slide, and I can share this file with everyone. This is just parts of the internal accounts that we've budgeted: textbooks, tech, special projects, software, miscellaneous supplies. So it's more like a refresher to everyone. I'm not sure. I have to go back and see like how, the one that I'm sorry, the only one that I really want to focus on is special projects with all the stakeholders. Just show what we have spent for translation and that we still have $25,000 for test prep and $25,000 for counseling, college counseling, and to ensure that people know that money is there and that the administration hopefully will make a plan to spend that money. But I think go ahead.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, you wanted to get LSC input on that as well, right? Like what was the
Yes.
expectation with that 25,000?
Yes. So I'm sorry for the people that are just joining us today that might have been kind of a quick ride for what we have to do. But are there any comments or questions? I think that's the slides that council is looking forward to seeing and what they've expressed interest in seeing. Additionally, I think our agenda says the $19,000 in school funds, how that's been spent. And Jeremy had some information on buying supplies for Spirit Week this week. But other than that, I think it will just be a lead into conversation about what to do to make sure that we spend all those MFT dollars by June 30th. So, and that obviously we're waiting for a lot of guidance from administration right now. Are there any questions? No? Okay. I don't know, Jeremy, if you had time to update any of the reports for November, like any check requests you see coming through. You're on mute.
There we go, sorry. There have not been a lot of check requests. I think just one is in there right now. On my end, not in the shared one, sorry. And I have not added documents because again, I'm kind of waiting until we're closer to the actual LSC dates. meeting dates, but I think they want them 3 days. You guys want 3 days in advance, right? So by like Saturday, I need it.
That would be great.
Yeah, I'll try, and I think my week is a little lighter now that homecoming orders have mostly gotten in, so I'm hoping to get a few more receipts in to update our numbers before I start adding all those documents.
Okay.
And just one check rec is in there, and that is for the athletic trainer, which is pretty much going to be a monthly one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to bring everyone who's our guest today, we have reports and Jeremy has uploads a lot of documents to a shared file that we can look at. And it includes chart of accounts and it includes any budget transfers, the balance sheet and other items like that. So you can get a feel for how the school's finances are looking for that month. And yeah, we're moving quickly. Back to school funds. Are you able, Jeremy, to provide by next Tuesday the amount of that 19,000 we were able to spend?
Yes.
And maybe what we spent it on?
Well, as of right now, there's only one. So there were 2 supply orders that totaled almost $5,000, done in 2 parts because they had to stay under 2,500. And then there is a DJ that was available that could be paid from those funds. The second DJ, because we're doing 2 spaces, was not able to be paid from those funds because they're only an active vendor in internal accounts, not with CPS as a purchasing vendor, which means I can't use that CPS budget line to create a purchase order to pay that DJ. Likewise, the photo booth that they found, that is only an active vendor with IMES, also not with purchasing, so those funds can't be used for that either. So in total, it was about 5,500, I think.
Okay.
And then I don't know if there's plans for the remaining, whatever that is, 13,500.
I hope so. I mean, or eventually, like.
Yeah, I mean, the only point I would try and drive home is that although it seems like these are unrestricted funds, they're only unrestricted within CPS purchasing guidelines. So that is still very, very restricted.
Okay, yeah, obviously, yeah, we've talked about how they're having a vendor approval is taking a long time right now. Yeah, and I don't know if there's anything that any stakeholders, schools can band together to try to improve that process, or if it's a losing battle, or if or downtown is short-staffed, or what's happening.
Yeah, I just gave Ms. Chow and the head of procurement a long recap of the whole vendor mess we've been going on through with our virtual learning today. And another school chimed in right away and said, we're having the same problem. So, I mean, like, it's an ongoing forever problem with CPS purchasing and the vendors and the process.
Okay. All right. I think that they'll be happy to know that some money got spent for homecoming. I'm going to say that Dr. Powers did contradict himself a little bit because he said that we didn't use any of the funds for the homecoming dance because not all students are able to participate. But clear we spent some money on that. So,
well, I don't know that it was the dance. It's supplies that are mostly being used for this week.
Okay, so the DJs are not for that Friday night?
The one DJ is for the
One
dance.
DJ,
I think that
okay.
was only 500.
Okay. Yeah, that is a whole nother non-budgetary issue. the dance itself. Okay. Any questions about the back to school funds before we move on to the next agenda item? From anyone? Okay. This old business, it says rental contract approvals. We're fine. We decided the language we want to bring to the LLC. The LLC has had that language. They just have not had time to approve this rental language, so that makes it easier for Troy to rent out her space. But while we're talking about rentals, Troy, do you have any updates on rentals?
Yeah, so I was given the green light to start renting to youth groups. And I think I may have previously said that we didn't really have any that qualified within that parameter that I was given. But there's actually a couple that I'm now reaching out to and seeing if they're interested in resuming their rental. So I'm just waiting to hear what they say. Our new software that the CPS launched seems to be pretty good, but right now we haven't had a chance to have anyone use it. So this might be a good opportunity.
Okay. And do you need anything from the LSC for that?
For the which part? The renting out to the youth groups or to the program?
The youth groups.
Nope, just I'm gonna be reaching out to them, and then if it falls under, once we get that motion passed, then I'll be able to
Okay.
move forward to kind of reaching out to more independent contracts.
Okay. Okay, I will try hard to get that done in November. Otherwise, it's just gonna keep being strung along. And there's no news about renting to like churches and things like that.
I think that's probably going to be opening up once the state loosens up their restrictions. The numbers for COVID have been going down at a steady pace, so that gives me hope that that also might mean churches might be able to resume. But the protocol for what that might look like is still. I'll probably receive it a week after it's launched, so that typically is how it goes. But no word yet.
Okay, well, we'll keep waiting. All schools are waiting. Our next agenda item is the fee adding to the to the website. And I've just on the website because I hadn't had a chance to look if that was, I think we were going to add it under, I'd have to go look at my minutes, parents or students. Oh, and thanks Troy for showing me the bell schedule on the added the bell schedule to the student life. I'm still trying to get this website more under my belt. I think we're going to put it under parents. Is that correct? Okay, look at the old minutes. I take it we didn't add it though by the quiet in the room.
No, I thought there was discussion about it, but I don't know if it was actually confirmed on where exactly we were going to be placing it.
Yeah, I would agree with Troy. I don't know if a decision was made about that, or if it was, I may have missed it.
Yeah, no, in the minutes from October, it says that add to the parents tab. And maybe it was going to be under, I'm sorry, I'm on there right now. And maybe that's not the best spot. I don't know.
I mean, there's, I guess it's only as good as when people are looking for something, they always want it to be that immediate drop down. But it's a question of where that's going to be placed and what kind of language we're going to be putting in there. Because right now, a lot of the fees is in the language that is being used is beginning of the year for the quick start. So that might have to be modified to be more of a year-round kind of thing. So that if someone's looking in August, and the language is directed.
Well, how about
them to
this?
Submit it before that,
Sorry
it
to-
might be different in December. What did you say?
No, but sorry to interrupt, but I was thinking, gosh, there could just be a drop down under students called Quick Start. And then it'd be clear that it was from the previous year, but then it would at least all the fee information would be there if people were looking for it. But then it would be very clearly delineated that it was part of the previous year because Quick Start happens at the beginning of the school year. So that might solve that issue of like not knowing, what year it is. Right now, the only way you can get the fees, if you search on the website fees, you'll get it. But it's just a question of making that information available all the time to be transparent.
So does that mean we are adding it to the quick start at the beginning? Because I also think that's not always going to be there, right, Troy, the announcements?
Say it again.
Well, are we saying we should be adding it in the quick start? I think it's already in the quick start page, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Quick Start's only there as part of the announcements. Is
Right,
there
so-
is there any reason why Quick Start couldn't just be live on there under like registration or like, wait, sorry, where am I? Under
Under
like,
parent.
yeah, or I don't
I mean,
know.
if it feels like it makes more sense under parent, then yeah, I can put it there.
Or maybe it's
uh,
under incoming freshmen. Is that where it lives now?
Yeah, I think it's more that, like, if I'm a senior, I'm definitely not going to that page.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
And a
good point.
Senior
good
parent
point.
might have those questions.
Right.
But to answer your question, yes, for incoming freshmen, it gives them a full breakdown of the application process from start to their start of school at Jones. And within that is the quick start. I think we still have it listed as register or registration, but
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, we could put it in multiple places. I mean, it just, in the past, like the quick start's just been for a few months and then we've closed it out, mainly because my experience with the quick start is people still try to register
Mm.
and think that they're registering for the school as an incoming freshman and not realizing they have to go to go.cps. But yeah, I mean,
Maybe-
like I said, if you want to put it under parent and then just put the full quick start there or break it out.
Yeah, Troy, what if we just put a line right underneath the parents tab with quick start, and could you just do like /fees or school fee schedule with it so that people know it's there as well?
Or just fees or under admissions, all right? Like everyone who comes to Jones has to pay fees. So there's an admissions tab. So that might, if you're researching schools, you'd be like, oh, what does it take to get in? Oh, what are the fees? And our fees are not the most. Just so.
Let's just do both. I mean, I'll put it under parent and then under admissions. And then put the fees and everything there, and then break it out separately from the quick start. So there's no confusion. Does that work?
Okay, yeah, I think it's just really important, especially for the parents who have questions. Like then if they're looking around the website, they'd be like, oh, this is what, you guys did a really good job explaining everything in multiple languages. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll add that. I'll try to do it by the next meeting.
Okay,
The
I'll
next
put it in the
LSC
minutes
meeting.
so we remember what we said we'd do.
Well, I just made a note too, so.
Okay, great. Thank you. Where's my agenda? Okay. I would love, and some of the new parents on this call, I would, so oftentimes we are asked to spend Jones internal account money on facility projects. And some of the facility projects should be paid for by CPS. But for example, we just approved a purchase order for blinds for the 3rd floor of the old building. And that to me is a facility project. And for a strategic planning goal, I would like to see either a spreadsheet or a document or something that talks about facility projects and ensures that we are budgeting either through internal accounts, through I don't want to say extra fees, but through rental income possibly. And that we are able to pay for these projects and we're planning for them. And if that means sometimes we have to ask for money from some other source to pay for a facility project that, I don't know. I just want to make sure that the facility is being taken care of and that there's money for special projects. And I don't know, Jeremy, is there a document like that already that tracks facility projects or spending, or is it just ad hoc?
I don't think there is a document. I think part of the problem is it's dealt with by several different areas. So if it's the day-to-day running of the building and those kinds of things, or like our engineer might be a better person to ask, but he has a certain pot of money and things that he can use that money for that are part of upkeep of this building. But for whatever reason, CPS may deem blinds in our North Campus as not part of that upkeep. So that's why it gets funded through our internal monies. So to try and combine all of that, but I think you're more interested in the parts that CPS is not willing to cover.
Yeah, or that the engineer's budget doesn't cover,
Right.
Or having the big list that includes bigger projects like the auditorium where we need to lobby CPS to pay for this facilities. And I've had success putting pressure on facilities to get things done sometimes when it's really, really not the school's responsibility to pay for stuff. And so if there was a document that had those, and we knew kind of priority and what the administration's priority was for this list, I think that would be really helpful. We had talked about it in an LSC meeting and it kind of got punted to the budget committee. And so without Dr. Powers here, it's really difficult for me to understand like how he would see this happening. Is it working with the engineer? Or does he already have a list in his mind? That kind of stuff.
I think there's a little bit of an unwritten list in his mind. And Troy probably knows a little bit about some of the projects as well, just because he's tied into it with rentals. And then I also catch wind of things too. But primarily what I know of right now are the blinds, not just for the third floor, but that entire building, where we can only do it in certain chunks, especially with spending limits and things like that. And then also the auditorium has been a project on the back burner for many years, as well as the auditorium foyer on the north building. Troy, is there any other things that you can think of that come to mind?
No, I've run into similar issues with special projects. It seems that it all comes from depending on what and where it is. The funding might come from different sources, or I've worked with Capital on trying to do some updated stuff in the north building, and then originally I was told to go through Capital for some issues with the field, but then it turned out that it was sports admin. So I don't know if there's a clear answer on exactly where to go with some of these things.
Okay, well, if any of our guests on the call are interested in tackling facilities or this next thing we're about to talk about, I think for strategic budget planning, especially for things that we do have to pay for, in April when we go to the LSC with our budget and we want to spend money from internal accounts, it'd be great to say we need 10 grand for this special project. And that's something that CPS won't cover, and that then the school can be like, then the LSC isn't surprised when they get their the request. So it's just a better way to manage our money. Our last thing to talk about is the tech plan. Dr. Powers isn't here, but Ms. Trosch, our tech coordinator, put together a tech plan at the at the end of the spring last year when we were doing the budget planning. And I think that it really could be taken to the next level. Also, we're looking for some direction from him. Are we allowed to work with her? Like, what can we do to make this tech plan more robust and maybe strategic and long-term potentially, especially as we're replacing the Chromebooks and other internal computers that the school needs. So for those on the call, we added a tech fee of $100 per student, and that's to cover Chromebook use and replacement. And then there's a small budget for other tech in the school. And to me, it's just, I think it would just be helpful if that was a little bit more specific as far as when things need to be retired and then replacement schedule for teacher computers and other computers in the school. So, and potentially even software. So if anyone's interested in doing that, I'm kind of waiting for the green light from Dr. Powers to, does he think it's important? I think it's important. I would like him to think it's important. And I would like us to kind of get the approval to work with the tech co to make that a more robust plan. So any questions?
Are you saying there's a tech plan, but it's kind of like been tabled and nothing's happened with it?
It was a tech plan that Joanne wrote, Ms. Troche wrote for the LSC, and it was a really good start. And I think it just needs to be taken to that next level. It needs to be a living document that's updated every year with the tech needs. And I think it was done for us, for the LSC, but I think it could be really helpful for the school for budgeting when we have to replace tech, to have all this strategically laid out in a plan. And the reason I'm saying this is the school I came from had a robust 7-year tech plan to get us to where we wanted to go. So it was a very visionary plan. It also included funding dollars. So maybe year 2, we needed to raise, more money to pay for this. And we did a huge tech incubator, and we raised a lot of money so that we could get to this next phase of tech. And I think the school deserves to have that too. I think it would be helpful for the students and the teachers. And we could even partner like with organizations, so we don't have to pay for everything. Getting a STEM lab, you can partner with orgs that maybe want to sponsor that and have their name on it. You can get more 3D printers or whatever the latest technology is. So I think we just have to think a lot bigger than, and maybe people are. That's what I think also what's happening at schools, that a lot of people are thinking about all these things. And so how do we communicate that and get people working together and collaborating? So.
Okay.
Okay, we have Mary Had a Little Lamb going on in the background. I'm hoping my filter is filtering that out. But we have a couple minutes. Do any of the guests want to say anything? Not to put you on the spot, Cindy.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for including me. I was wondering whether if we change the name from tech, what did you call it? A budget, a vision plan?
I don't know. I just call it a tech plan, but we could absolutely rebrand.
I was just thinking about calling it maybe well, if we called it something else, then does that open us up to be able to work more freely with people to put it together? Like say we call it a tech blueprint instead of a plan, and then that kind of technically allows us to get to the same place without having to get permission from everything. Because blueprints seem a lot more informal than plans.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I
something.
don't know. Maybe I'm waiting. Maybe I shouldn't be waiting for permission. I just, I would like, I could contact Ms. Troche herself and say, would you like to work on this? I did in the spring. I got no answer. So I could call her. Maybe she was busy, that kind of thing. I shouldn't just give up. But yeah, rebranding. I'm a big fan of rebranding things.
I could also, sorry to interrupt, say that
Go ahead.
and I don't want to speak on her behalf, you deserve a reply, but she is overwhelmed right now with 1,900 kids and staff who all have devices, and she's all by herself. So I know she would like help, but getting that help for her is a different story. So that might be why she's just a little overwhelmed with the whole thing.
Yeah, we have a lot of money to spend. Maybe the OST kids after school can help with the tech. No, I'm just joking. Everyone's Rakesh, any feedback?
Well, does she
No, I'm
have a
just
system in place? Oh, I'm sorry. Does Joe have a system in place for replacing Chromebooks or computers? Okay,
I'm
So you're
sure
just-
she does. I just haven't seen it codified.
so you're just thinking of a bigger something to elevate Jones in the tech world? Is that what you're thinking?
And yes, and to ensure that we have the budget to support her, Ms. Troche, and the school and the students, and that they're getting the technology that they deserve,
Okay.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think a multi-year vision document is a terrific idea. And, that's the only way to kind of, I think, implement something of that scale to ensure that it gets done, as opposed to just ad hoc, single year. It's really a multi-year effort, as devices just go out of date. It's like the Chromebooks that they're using now, they're probably going to be out of date in 2 years or 3 years. So I think, trying to
Yeah.
get on top of it with like a systematic effort makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, and I think her existing plan does have them just kind of cycle out after 4 years, even and so I think she's thinking of that. I would just, like you said, I'd like to see that multi-year vision document, especially from a budget perspective. So this is a budget committee, right? We're talking about like funding things and making sure we find money. And I think that we also need to look for money in places and be creative and ask people for money, and not just parents. Ask pair with corporations if we're allowed to, and think big. So, okay. So anyway, if anyone's interested in that, like reach out to me and I'll try to make some connections. And especially if you're detail oriented and good at strategic planning, I think that would be awesome. And other than that, I don't have anything to add unless anyone has something for public comment. And otherwise, I'll see you hopefully all on December 6th at 3:15 p.m. Oh, Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy. I was just adjourning the meeting. I was just going to adjourn the meeting, but I will follow up with you. I'm going to share that slide deck with you, and then we can just fill in the information.
Okay, sorry, I had a teacher at my door.
That's okay. All right. Anything, Rachel? Any questions? No? Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.